What's going on, everybody? Matt Modi here with OddsJam. There's been some pretty insane line movement when it comes to the NFL games this weekend, specifically Chiefs-Bengals. So I'm going to lock in some best bets for this video, or for this game, including the other game as well, the Eagles-49ers. The line movement has been pretty stagnant on that one, but there are some player props and some other bets that are opening up as the week goes on. Odds are constantly shifting, so there are constantly new profitable bets to make. So I'm just going to be pretty much doing this all week, locking in some bets from the EV page, from the OddsJam screen as the week goes on. But I really wanted to highlight the line movement in the Chiefs game specifically. Part of that is lines are moving in favor of the Chiefs. Now, this is full game, this is first half, this is first quarter. Pretty much any way you slice it, money is starting to come in towards the Chiefs. My guess is this has to do with the fact that Mahomes, his ankle is seemingly better than people expected it to be at this time. I'm still skeptical, but I'm just following the data. So the first bet, that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is the first quarter spread -0.5 for the Chiefs. Now, this one is obviously a little bit risky because they have to be winning at the end of the first quarter. So if it's tied, obviously you lose this bet, but the value is really, really good. So it's plus 150 odds at Betfred. And the value, everything is derived from these no vig odds here, right? You see these numbers right here, plus 144, essentially plus 144 if you want to round up. So the way these no vig odds work, they're pulled from the sharpest sportsbooks in the world using a weighted average, removing the vig. So the vig is just the juice that sportsbooks price odds. You kind of see the difference between two sides of a bet, -165 versus plus 135. If you bet both sides, or I guess I should say if there's two bettors that bet both sides, equal payout, the sportsbook makes the vig. It's how they make their money. So removing the vig gives you the accurate representation of what a sportsbook thinks of a market. So these no vig odds are essentially the weighted average of the true line of a bunch of different sharp sportsbooks that OddsJam back tested to determine and confirm who the sharp books are. So it's not like OddsJam just went back and said, I was told that these two sportsbooks are the best, so we're going to use them to set the markets. No, OddsJam used data, a large sample size of time, and also a large sample size of data to determine and let that data tell them, okay, these sportsbooks are the sharpest. So the logic being, if these five, whatever you want to call it, books consistently do the best job at pricing odds, we're going to use them to set the markets moving forward from future/current betting opportunities, like this Kansas City Chiefs one. It should truly be priced at about plus 144 with the vig removed. Betfred is giving it to us at plus 150. More often than not, if you can beat the closing line of what these sports books, the sharp ones, price a play to be, you will be profitable. Now, that's not me saying that this is a lock. That's not me saying that, you will profit every single day. You will win all of your bets. It's just saying you will be profitable in the long run. Now, obviously, variance happens. Bad beats happen. All that stuff. It is sports betting. It's not a script. The games still need to be played. But placing mathematically profitable, valuable bets over the course of time will be profitable. So this is the first one, Chiefs first quarter spread -0.5. And then what I like to do and what I recommend doing before ever placing a bet, look at where the look at where the book you are placing the bet at and the odds you're placing the bet at. Look at where that compares to the rest of the sports books. So Pinnacle is the sharpest sports book in the world. Price this at plus 135. That's roughly 15 cents lower than the Betfred line. Bookmaker prices it at plus 131. That's 19 cents lower than the Betfred line. And lower meaning more likely to occur. BetOnline is the third sharp sportsbook. They have this matching the Pinnacle line. So all three of the sharpest sportsbooks in the world, BetOnline, Bookmaker, and Pinnacle, are aligned that this should be priced at roughly plus 135, essentially, kind of in the middle of plus 130 and plus 135. Betfred is offering it all the way up at plus 150. That's a pretty big gap between the sharp sportsbooks and Betfred. And that gap is within our favor because it's a higher payout. So that's kind of the stuff that we're looking for when placing these bets. So this is play number one. Chiefs first quarter spread -0.5 plus 150 at Betfred. Next up, and this is a player prop in the Chiefs-Bengals game, Jerrick McKinnon under 3.5 receptions. So the play is at plus 130 odds at BetRivers. Pinnacle prices it at plus 105, 25 cents lower. BetOnline prices it at plus 102, 28 cents lower. And then if you look at the rest of the sports books, two books are kind of close, Bet365 and DraftKings. But then look at every other book. It's universally plus 110, plus 112, plus 110, plus 110. So to the majority of sports books, this plus 130 is a clear outlier, along with the sharpest sports books in the world, BetOnline and Pinnacle. That's a really good sign. The Novig line on this one is at plus 125. We are getting it at plus 130. The gap between these two numbers is your profitability. All in all, this is a really good bet. Jerrick McKinnon under 3.5 receptions. Next up, we are looking at MVS Marquez Valdez Scantling under 27.5 receiving yards. So this play is at minus 110 odds at Bet365. The Novig line on this one is almost exactly minus 112.5. So 2.5 cent gap between the Novig line and the bet that we are placing. And then again, you want to compare the sports books and where they're pricing it at. So Pinnacle is at minus 132. You can ignore Underdog and Prize Picks because they're a DFS company, so they price everything the same exact way. We see three books that are closer: BetMGM, Betfred, and BetRivers. But then the majority of books are not, including Pinnacle. But FanDuel, minus 130. Caesars, minus 137. DraftKings, minus 130. Tipico, minus 125. And then another thing you can do for plays that, like yardage, spreads, totals, anything that's going to have higher numbers, if you view the event page in a new tab, it pulls up where every sportsbook prices his receiving yardage prop at. So right now, the screenshot is showing us where sportsbooks price specifically the over-under 27.5. But not every single sportsbook is going to price his over-under at 27.5, right? We know that odds are different, totals are different as well. So we are taking the under 27.5. So we want to make sure I guess I should say, it would be in our favor if the rest of the sports books that don't price it at 27.5 price it below this number. So let's check it out. We're betting on Marquez Valdez Scantling under. Let me zoom out just a little bit so we can include everything on one screen. So we took the under 27.5. Looks like there are two books that price it below this number, 2 yards lower at 25.5. That would be PointsBet and that would be Ballybet. Looks like BetOnline doesn't have any pricing for this one, so can't compare to them. But that's still a really good sign for us. Not that I'm saying PointsBet and Ballybet are like the sources of truth that we use for everything, but it is still a point in our favor that every sportsbook, if you just look at the entire landscape for this MVS receiving yardage prop, every sportsbook either juices the under 27.5 at a heavier number than we are getting it at, which is minus 110, or they price it below this number, which is another way of them telling you, we think he's going to go under. So that makes this a really, really good play, which is why I really like it, why I'm adding it to the plays that I recommend locking in. Play number 2, MVS under 27.5 receiving yards, minus 110 odds at Bet365. Play number 3, we are looking at the first half total in the Eagles versus 49ers. I locked it in at 22.5, as you can see here. It's a really good play at 23 as well, so I'm going to hit it again. Plus 100 odds dictates 50-50, means 50-50. If you place 1,000 bets, all of them at plus 100 odds, you win half your bets, you have broken even. Any number in which you win above 50%, you are profiting. So if we look at where every sportsbook prices this over 23 prop, every book either favors the over, like BetMGM, Betfred, Bet365, two sharp ones, BetOnline and Bookmaker, Circa, or they have it as a 50-50 outcome, which is neutral value to us, which is WinBet, which is Pinnacle. Obviously, Pinnacle is given heavyweight, FoxBet, and XBet. Neutral value is fine. It's not good. It's not bad. It's neutral. But every other book is positive expected value, favoring this to go over. So that's why this Eagles 49ers first half total over 23 is a really good play. Plus 100 odds at Caesars. This is my third play for this video, and I believe I have two more. Number one, Joe Mixon under 3.5 receptions. So obviously another player prop. This play is at minus 125 odds at Bet365. OddsJam perfect line. The true line of this is at essentially minus 126.5, as my dog says hello. Comparing every other book, Bet Rivers is close at minus 129, but then the sharp books are not. Pinnacle, minus 148. Bet Online is even, significantly the most favorable towards this under at minus 164. DraftKings at minus 145. And then everything else is kind of between minus 135 and minus 140. 10 to 15 cents lower than the Bet365 number. So I do like this Joe Mixon one a lot. And these last two plays just make sense from like a handicapping standpoint. The Eagles have the best first half offense in the NFL, including specifically the second quarter. Now, obviously, they haven't gone against a defense like the 49ers, so we'll see if they can keep it up. But that play makes sense. Mixon, incredible running back, doesn't get as much receiving work that's kind of been given to Samaje Perine. So this one makes sense as well. And then the last play, as I mentioned, money is coming in towards the Chiefs. So it's the Chiefs first quarter money line, minus 105 odds. Looking at the sharp sportsbooks, bookmaker at minus 115, Pinnacle at minus 113. And this isn't a sharp book, but at both XBet and Bet Rivers favor the Chiefs at this number as well, with a couple books having it at even money. But you obviously give heavier weight towards the sharp books, and money is flying in on the Chiefs. It makes sense that this first quarter money line is favored, as well as the first quarter spread, which was the first bet we locked in. So that's going to be it for this video. I know this was a lot. Hopefully this was helpful and made sense. Comment on the video, A, with your feedback if you're tailing these bets, B, with your feedback if you have any questions. It would also help me out a ton if you could like the video and subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel. And then if you want to find me, you can on social media, Twitter at JediModi, on Pickit, which is a sports betting specific app, OddsJam_Matt. But that's all I got. So I appreciate everybody watching, and have a good one.